And then there are more questions coming in here, even though he says his name is Futa. He wants GT to clarify the 25% of the third majority needed to win the presidential election. They just want to hear something about that.
Well, if what the Constitution says is that for a president to emerge, that president must have garnered overall majority and then a minimum of 25% of the total votes cast in at least 2/3 of the state, including the Federal Capital Territory. If the contestants are two, that winner must have, apart from that 25% of the vote, a majority of the votes. If the contestants are more than two, you have many contestants as you have now, the winner must have the highest number of the votes and not necessarily a majority of the votes. So the standard is lower, if you understand what I mean. That's the language of the law, the highest number of the vote, not necessarily a majority of the lawful vote cast in the election.
Let me just ask you this before, looks as if we're going to be rounding up anytime soon now. But of major concern is the situation in River State. Where do you see this going?
It's very troubling.
Very.
Very troubling.
And embarrassing.
It's a dark spot on the imagined canvas of peaceful conduct of this election that we started celebrating. Now, as it's now turning out, it's like maybe we celebrated too early. I watched the event keenly on television today, and I was scared, particularly during that protest that was taking place in front of the INEC state headquarters. And the military personnel were there, policemen were there with their tank, and the protester weren't given an inch. They weren't going to leave. And I was just praying silently where I was that there will not be a confrontation. Because, you see, basically, how do military men respond to confrontation? It's by shooting.
By engaging.
Yes. So I was really, really very scared when I saw that confrontation. And for me, the allegations that were leveled are very serious allegations. I know that there's a path for resolution of election disputes. It's a path that is very laborious. It's a path that is very costly for partisans to take. But that is still going to be the recommended path. There's been a letter of protest to INEC, and the chairman, addressed that today in the question and answer session by saying that they will investigate and that they will take appropriate decision. Now, the tricky part, and that's why there's agitation, is that for the national election, for a presidential election, the INEC chairman is the chief electoral officer and the returning officer for that election. Now, for other forms of elections, like senatorial election and all that, so House of Assembly, that will be done there. And this election is not just the presidential election, but the other forms.
So he's supposed to announce the one for the presidential election?
Yes, he's the national returning officer.
One of the states they just told us in Oshun that they will announce the results for the presidential elections. Is that
for the states?
The law requires that you read and announce the result. There are layers of announcement. Even at the polling unit,
yes,
you announce the result. You declare the result there. At the World Collation Center, you also declare there. At the Federal Constituency House of Collation Center, you declare there and all that. So also as the State Collation Center. But the ultimate job to not only declare and announce, say, this is the person that has won this election overall, will be done at the National Collation Center. I think that's it.
And quickly, we need to quickly understand in context what has caused what has happened in Rivers State. I'm looking at last elections, and we had expected a bit of what is happening in Rivers State. We had just hoped it wasn't going to be
Escalated.
violent. In the last election, the current president, Rivers State was the location where the current president recorded the highest number of votes. And right now, the equation has changed. So clearly what has happened in summary is the intense level of competition to find out who will win Rivers State. And that is the summary of what is happening in Rivers State.
Yes, but the Rivers State people also owe themselves one thing. Like we said before, no politician is worth fighting for. You have your destiny, they have their destiny. I believe that Rivers State people, as a people, must understand that going to war for this election should not happen. Because their sons, their daughters, their own people will die. And there's no need. If Governor Amechi has an issue, like he said, there's a legal process. No matter how laborious it is, he has to go through it. Whatever is happening on the ground should be handled with ultimate understanding that no life is worth this election. So, therefore, the Rivers people owe themselves, not just the governor, whether the governor tells them, doesn't tell them, INEC tells them, doesn't tell them, they need to make up their mind and say, this is what we want. And we're going to die because of an election.
Exactly.
Those should be your closing arguments.
Except that it depends on how you appreciate or understand the situation. In an election, as keenly contested as this, if you feel that you are not fighting for a politician, but you are fighting for yourself, perhaps you think that you can die for that. But that's not what we feel that anybody should do.
Even
really.
if you feel you can die, I don't think the philosophy or the ideology is worth it.
So
The ideology is not it. Anywhere you want to think about it, the ideology of dying for an election is not worth it. There's no reward.
Well, that's
Not
the way,
in heaven, nor on earth.
that's the way we have to
It's gonna
end it
drown
today. We want to thank you for
drown
coming on, Julia Benite, Institute for National Transformation.
Thank you very much.
Jiti Ogunye, legal practitioner, Channels election consultant, and Babajide Ogunsowo, data and information analyst, also Channels TV's election consultant. Well, that's the show today, but don't worry. Many of you are asking, who will win? What kind of statistics can we give you about that one? Don't worry. We will attempt to delve into that tomorrow. So, I'm Chamberlain Osor.
And I am Gimbo Omar. Thank you so much indeed for being part of the show today.
And the continuing coverage of Nigeria's 2015 elections continues by 11 p.m. today. So, don't miss that. So, from all of us here today, good night.